Hi friends, I'm Emily and this is Brooks Family Farm, and we're going to be doing a couple of things today. I have some ranunculus that are soaking that I want to get started for pre-sprouting. I'll kind of show you how I do that. And if you're interested in growing a few of these flowers at home for yourself, it'll kind of give you a glimpse into how I do it. I'm also going to be starting a few seeds, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about the seed starting schedule for the farm. But I want to go ahead and start with the ranunculus a little bit, and then we'll get into the nerdy seed starting schedule part a little bit later. So I soaked them in this cute pot that my brother gave me, and I have several varieties, and I'm trying to do a better job about labeling this year, so I've got them separated into different bags. These have been soaking about 2 hours now. I soak them about 4 hours, seems to be plenty, and I change the water every hour. Ranunculus corms look funny. Neil thinks they look like spiders and he doesn't really like them. See if that'll show. But they start to lighten up in color and puff up. I can tell these still need to soak a little bit, but they're coming right along. So these are soaking. I'm going to get my trays ready. Before I can get my trays ready, I need to do some soil blocking. So I'm going to walk you through the process real quick, and then we'll get to that soil blocking. So to start my ranunculus, I use a solid bottom 10-20 tray. I got some really heavy duty ones this year that I am very excited about. If you are starting a few at home, you could use like an old cake pan. You just want something that's going to hold water and has, at least a few inches of the depth to it. You can see how deep that is. I've got my bag of dirt, and I'm going to mix them up here in a minute and fill this halfway full, probably. Those little corms they look like octopi, I don't know, and you put their little legs just kind of tucked into the dirt. So with this, you can see there's little like legs coming down, and this is going to be this flat spot where the sprouts come from. Up there. So you put it like this, just kind of tucked into the dirt. I put them where they're not touching each other, but otherwise they're pretty close. That way I can just fit more in a tray. I want them to not be touching so that I can pull them apart a little more easily. This is a tray that I started 3 weeks ago. So you can see just in 3 weeks they're doing really good. These are not quite ready. Well, they are. These are ready to go out. My weather is not quite ready for them to go out. It's the first week of February. Last year I planted ranunculus the 1st of March in central Missouri, and they did very well. Our average last frost is at the very end of April, so it was about 2 months before my last frost, and I did have to cover them with some fabric when it got really cold to protect them, since they weren't very well established, but they did really well. I'm not going to plant them, but I can go ahead and try and take some out. I just reach in here gently. Oh, they're beautiful. Look at those roots. Oh, they're beautiful. Those are ready to be planted. I'm going to wait just a little bit. I'll show you. Not sure how well this guy is going to do going back in the tray, so he might just have been sacrificed for the video. Gorgeous roots. I didn't know it was going to be that good. I knew the top growth was good, but the root growth is amazing. I like doing them in the open tray like this because their roots don't get bound up. You saw how just straight and long those roots were. They're ready to go right in the ground and start growing, which makes me so happy. We have a small covered bed that I think I'm going to put some of these in, and then the others, we're going to hold them in the trays a little bit longer and just kind of check the forecast. They might go in mid-February, just to get a little bit of a head start. I'm playing it a little bit fast and loose with my planting times this year because I have a lot of ranunculus. I have 330 that I started 3 weeks ago. I don't know how many's in this pot today. I may have over 1,000. I don't know. It's an absurd number of ranunculus. So I'm planting some out early, and I'll cover them and try to get some early blooms. But if you just have a few corms that you're growing for yourself, I would plant them out 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date and know that they can tolerate some pretty cold temperatures. I've been watching some in the garden. We'll go take a look at those. Those are established. They've been in the ground for almost a year at this point when they got down to 10 degrees. So they are holding up really well. In the spring, the ranunculus can go 26, 28 degrees super comfortably. If it's going to get below 26 degrees, I would throw a layer or a couple layers of fabric over them depending on how much you want to baby them. And they'll do super well. They like the cold. They take 90 days from the time you soak and sprout the corm till the time you get flowers, and they don't like the heat. So here in Missouri, June's going to be hot. The last week of May might be hot. Last year, the second week of May was hot, but June's going to be hot for sure. So I want them to start flowering by the 1st of May so that I can get blooms through May. 1st of May, what does that make? 1st of May, April, March, 1st of February. That's when I sprouted my first corms last year. So that's right on time to get May blooms. So if you're doing it at home, another good option is to do them in some pots. Go ahead and get them started now at the beginning of February. Get them going in pots. If you're going to have a frost, you can just pull your pot in for the night and they'll be so happy. You'll have blooms definitely by the 1st of May doing that. Some people fall plant their ranunculus and let them get started in the fall and then just protect them through the winter. I've not done that. Watching these out in my garden, I'm thinking I am going to try that, but I haven't done it, so I can't tell you on that in this area. Definitely areas warmer than me, you can do that for sure, but we still get like below 0 in our winters. Let's go take a quick look at those ranunculus in the garden while I'm thinking about it, and then we'll get on with some seed starting. So this has been like the star of the show. Just looks great. Again, it's been down to 10 degrees at night, 20 degrees for a high for like 3 days in a row. This one had some damage, but look, it's got beautiful new leaves shooting up. This one's clearly had its damage, but it's got some new leaves shooting up. Oh, here's some more damaged ones. So this one got pretty good damaged in the cold. But I can tell that stem isn't dead. We're gonna get some new growth out of those. So this is our little bed. It's like 3 foot by 4 foot. It'll hold a few ranunculus. The reason I want to put ranunculus here is this was a prefab kit that my local discount store had, and it comes with a like domey top that's that same kind of greenhouse fabric as this. So it'll be great to get them started a little early in the year. This is my greenhouse Neil got me for my birthday last year. And my other trays of ranunculus we've started, as well as a few anemones. So these are the anemones with this curly leaf, and the ranunculus have more of this round leaf. I don't know if that's how all anemones and ranunculus are. All the ranunculus have that kind of leaf, but this is my first time growing anemones. Okay, I want to talk a minute about our crop plan for the year, mostly because I didn't have one last year and I made one this year. So last year I kind of knew what I wanted to plant, and I definitely started several things, but in the summer especially, I lost track of a lot of things. So I wanted to be a little bit more diligent, and I started with just making to-do lists, but then I got a little bit more nerdy about it, and I think that was the thing to do. So I made a sheet, a Google sheet, because I don't have Excel, and I took the Sundays, and so I wrote down January 1st, January 8th, January 15th, all the way down. In the next column, I numbered the weeks. Week 1, week 2, all the way down. And then in the third column, I made some notes. Like week 4 is 12 weeks before my last frost. Week 17 is my average last frost. And then I just labeled in there so I could kind of tell where I was. And then before that, and then next to that, I just kind of went. So I have one sheet that is for transplanting. So I know certain plants have to wait until the last frost to plant out. So like on week 17, my last frost, I'm going to plant my first round of zinnia, celosia, cosmos, marigolds, tomatoes, asters, sweet Annie. So like week 17, zinnia's first round going out. I want those in the tray for about 3 weeks. They grow really fast for me. Let's see if I put them at 3 weeks. So nope, I gave them 4 weeks on that first one. So zinnias, I have them starting week 13. Anyway, so I can look, like right now is a Sunday, and it's the first Sunday of week 6. So I can look at week 6. I want to do another round of ranunculus, working on that. Dianthus, Orlea, sage. I'll take a screenshot of this and put it down in the comments because I think it's been really helpful for me. So anyway, the reason I have to start some of these seeds before I can get on with my ranunculus project is I only have one tub. This is a meat tub. I got it online, but it's where I do my dirt mixing. So I was starting soil blocks last night, and I didn't use up all of this dirt. So this is sifted. I have to sift my dirt really fine for soil blocks. And for the ranunculus, I have not. I got this bag of soil at a box store. It's organic. It seems nice. My ranunculus are growing great in it. I'm just using that as is for the ranunculus. So I'm not going to just toss all this dirt because it's good stuff. So I'm going to do a few soil blocks with a few of these seeds that I missed from week 5, and then get on with the ranunculus. Helen is my scraper. She does a great job.
Do you have a scraper?
I have this knife. It's kind of messy.
Here's yours.
Oh, thank you. So you're supposed to just be able to like squish this down and get it in there really good. I don't know why, but this year it's not been working for me. So I kind of squish it down a few times and then push. You kind of saw what I did there. Good job, scraper girl. And then I've got my little tray. There's my soil blocks. That's 20. These little trays I got at a thrift store for $1 for like 10 of them. And they'll hold 2 really well. What I use for my big trays are like cafeteria trays. And they will hold 11 blocks or 220.
Yeah, I'm going to go clear up this knife.
Okay.
So it's not so dirty on my hand.
This also got really wet. Like when I started out, it was not too wet. But as I went. So when you're making these soil blocks, you're pressing the dirt in and you're mushing out a lot of water, so you end up pretty sloppy at the end. So, should be no big deal. I would just leave it in here and sift in some more dirt. But for the ranunculus, if you look up other videos of how to pre-sprout them, people will talk about making sure that they don't rot. You don't want them to sit in water so they don't rot. Which is so true, I'm sure. I've never had one rot, but I'm sure you don't want them to rot. What happened to me last year was I got the dirt wet, got the corms soaked, and then I didn't water them at all. Yeah, it's all shiny new. I was terrified for them to rot. So anyway, it went like 2 weeks and I didn't have any sprouts, and I was so concerned. I thought they had rotted. I didn't have any sprouts in there. And I pulled a few out of the dirt, and they looked like they were like had a few little bitty sprouts, but it was the dirt was pretty dry. So I went ahead and watered, like soaked the dirt pretty good, and they sprouted right up. So this year they sprouted within a couple days. In 3 weeks you can see they've got good growth on them. Thank you. So I don't know. I don't want to tell you to water your ranunculus a whole lot and then you end up with rotten corms. I don't want to do that. So make sure you water them some though, because they need that moisture. This is getting pretty soppy, Helen. Isn't it?
Yeah, pretty sloppy. I'm running out of dirt.
Sloppy and running out of dirt.
We might need some more.
Yeah. We're not going to get any more, though, of this dirt today.
Why not? Not.
Look, I splashed my face with dirt water. Because we're going to use the other dirt for ranunculus. We're not going to put in any more sifted dirt today. If you're interested in soil blocking, as a way of starting seeds, there's lots of good information. There's lots of good videos on how to do it. The way I'm doing it is a little weird because of these particular circumstances. It's a great method whether you're farming and starting thousands of seeds like we are, or even just a home gardener starting a few seeds. It's really great. So I love it because I'm starting hundreds and a few thousand seeds at a time. And I don't have a lot of space. I don't have a big greenhouse. I just have a shelf in my basement. You can start a lot of seeds at one time. And then also, they say, and it seems to be true, that you get really healthy seedlings with this. So the blocks, when the roots grow, they don't circle. Like when you buy a plant at the store, like you buy a tomato plant in the spring at the store and you pull it out of the pot and you've got all those roots wound up around, you kind of got to break it up before you plant it. Those roots they're growing in a circle, it's really hard for them to start growing out. And a lot of times at the end of the season, you pull up your plant and the roots have grown out, but there's still that like ball that you can see. With the soil block, they grow out and they hit the air and they stop. And so when you plant it, they hit they're at the soil and they just keep growing out, and it's super great. These are super tiny. Most of the things I start for the farm will just go from this tiny block right into the ground. But you can see you just pull the block. There's the dirt, you put it in the ground. You don't have pots to mess with. There's a lot less waste to mess with, which I think is great. I don't know. I'm on a tangent. I didn't mean for this to be a soil blocking video. But it's pretty great. One more set of blocks, and then we'll get to the ranunculus. So I got this pretty wet. Again, this is not a how-to video. I'm just showing you what I do.
Can I grab it too?
Yeah, you can grab it too. So, I don't want you to take this as gospel and then it not work for you. But I got it pretty wet. Like it's not quite soil blocking wet, but it's pretty wet. So then I'll put it in the tray. Helen, could you hand me the tray?
It's pretty dirty.
Yeah, our hands are going to be pretty dirty when we're done with this, huh?
Mine are already covered in swamp.
Mine too.
Mine too.
You can see this almost like has the texture of mulch. It's just got tons of like wood debris and stuff. And to be honest, these ranunculus sprouted super great. So I'm not complaining about this at all. It just definitely won't work for soil blocking. And what I'm using this year is recommended for soil blocking. It's Vermont Compost Fort V Mix. And I used that last year, but when I ran out of that, I went and got the yellow bag Miracle Grow potting soil, and it worked beautifully. So I thought maybe all potting soils would work well. Not the case. So some people don't pre-sprout their corms and they just soak them and put them right in the ground. Some people don't soak them, I think. I think they just put them right in the ground. So that might work. Yeah, so let me show you the spacing. So see, they're not touching, but they're pretty close together. And then right now it's dinner time and I want to leave these soak a little bit longer and go eat some dinner. But I'll just show you how I cover these so you can see. It's not anything in particular. Nothing I do is anything too in particular. But just make sure they're covered. And then they will sprout. Their roots will sprout out first, those beautiful white roots that we saw in that other one. And some people will just, like, as soon as they have white root growth, go ahead and plant them outside, because you're just making sure they're sprouting and they're viable. But if you get ambitious and start them way too early like I did, you just let them grow in the tray for a while. So see? Yep. Just covered up. So again, I'm filming this the first weekend in February. There is plenty of time for ranunculus starting in Missouri. Anyway, I guess I can't tell you how this translates everywhere. But our last frost is the end of April. May can typically be pretty cool for us. June starts to get hot. So to have them start flowering in May, starting them around the beginning of February is perfect. Anytime through the month of February, I'll probably be sprouting a few at a time, a few hundred, like each week, the first few weeks of February. So you still have time. Definitely, if you're planting a few in a pot that you can move inside and outside, you've got plenty of time to get them started. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.